Hello again, welcome back to Three Bridges Model Railway and the Mind the Gap series where I'm building my large sort of Uxbridge station hub, and this is the where I got to at the last episode. So I've built this sort of top deck of the station, and this is sort of the based around sort of framework that you have at Uxbridge station. So there was one thing I needed to still add before I sprayed up this with concrete, a sort of grey paint, just so it's all of a uniform colour. So I've found this stuff, sort of a chalky finish in a winter grey, and it looks quite similar to the acrylic grey paint I've been using to paint the lower decks, the columns that support the lower decks. So as you look at the stage, you go down the platform, as well as having these sort of centre areas here where you'll have the underground roundel. At the sides there's an extra bit of concrete where they sort of displayed posters and obviously the timetable and things like that. So for the three that are down the middle, I've sort of added them on. It's like little wings, so I can add extra information to the station. So now that they're all glued on, they just sort of put in place for eyeball, but the card's slightly thinner as it is with the Uxbridge concrete structure. Those parts are slightly thinner than the rest of it. So I'll get on and spray up and see where we get to. The first spray's on. It's looking okay. I say first spray, it's probably had several coats by the time I've gone around it. Obviously there's certain areas where I can see that I just need a little bit of extra to go on, and also because it's card and the spray, there's a few places where the fibres have sort of gone a bit rough, so I'll go over it with the emery board and just give it a sort of smooth down, and then a bit of a touch up in places. But yeah, I'm quite happy with the overall colour. Obviously this is the neat concrete I still need to weather up at a later stage, but yeah, making progress. I've just put the glazing along the two edges just in temporarily, just to see how they look. I've still got to make up the glazing panels that go along here, but before I attach these and the other panels, I need to just finish off, I suppose, the concrete work. So what does that mean? So I obviously need, similar to how I had on the lower levels, I've got these retaining walls. Obviously just give some sort of protection to people from the edge by the track, so they can go on, and I need to build up something here at the end so that people just basically can't just walk off the edge of the platform. And then obviously on the inside, similar to the deck below, so there is a little retaining wall around sort of the central atrium. So I'll build the same here, but I'm going to attach it to this part of the frame so that when I lift this whole structure off, basically everything comes off with it, so that it's just easier. And I think that will, the only other thing I need to do for this top deck is the back wall, obviously, which again will attach to this structure to give it some strength. So I've been fixing the side walls for the top deck along here, and then they sort of funnel in towards the station, and I've gone for gluing the roof on now because I think to do the glazing I need to have it in place. For the glazing for these bits, there's support either side, they're quite okay. It's these side ones, so the roof will have a support underneath, but I think I need to put just a thin strip on the back here so that the glazing's got something to hold it onto. So tomorrow I'll put some thin strips along, and then I can start attaching the glazing. Well, it's not a view you would normally see of Uxbridge Station, so it's turned upside down at the moment, and the reason for that is, I'll try to explain. So in this section here, bearing in mind this is upside down, so that's the roof here. I've got to have a glazing unit across, and I realised I hadn't actually got anything. It will sit on this strut, but I've got nothing to support it, so it doesn't just fall in. So I've needed to attach some thin strips, so it's just 1/2 mil card. It doesn't really need to have a lot of mechanical strength. So I've just been in a slow process of gluing in these additional strips here, which if I lift it up, you can see it just creates a thin lip. So that'll sit along there like that, and because I've put that strip in, this has got something to just attach to and support it. So that's the last bit for the main structure. Apart from the lighting, I still haven't worked out what I'm going to do about that. I think I'll leave that for the next episode. So everything's now sort of in clean concrete, I suppose, finished. The outside needs to be weathered up for external weathering, so it'll be more greens and yellows, or sort of moss and lichens that you would get over. So I'm in the early 80s. We said this was built in the 30s, so yeah, it's had about 50 years of external weathering, and then the internal weathering will be more, I suppose, the dirt that you'd get inside, so that'll be more the blacks and browns. But that'll be for another episode. So for the remainder of this one, I'll just show you how I did my glazing. So basically, I take the Pico points and track packaging, as it's just quite rigid plastic sheet and it's free. So I've got a thin black tape that I put around the edgings. I quite like the effect, and then I've just used a Sharpie pen to draw in the lines where you sort of see the sections of glass had gone in. So it will sort of look like this when I eventually do the rest of it. So I've made up all the strips, got a whole selection there, which I can start gluing in place. But before I put them in place, I'll do the weathering. Well, I'll show you the results of the next one. I think I'll leave this one as it is. So anyway, thanks for following. If you wondered why there was a shot of Cologne station at the beginning, I sort of took a week break with my wife over to Europe for a short holiday. So about 10 days away with work and holiday travel, but it was a nice break. Anyway, February's back to trying to get this one finished really, so it's now more getting onto the internal bits and the posters and painting up and decorating, which looking forward to. It's still really cold up in the loft, so it's too cold to run trains and do stuff, and I'm mainly out in the garage at the moment anyway, cutting down all the wood I've got for the bits that I need to take up to the loft for later in the year, as I sort of explained. So quite happy carrying on with Uxbridge at the moment, because it's warmer down here. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching, and maybe I'll catch you next time. Cheers.